Now, if you've got a laptop, you'll know how atrocious the sound can be on them because they're tiny little speakers, or should that be tinny? There's not even much mid-range, let alone bass, is there? The other thing is, of course, because of the nature of the beast, it's rather compact. So they do tend to run a bit hot when they're working hard. This is a friend of mine's laptop, and what she's done for the time she's had it so far is to put this underneath it. This is two 5-volt cooling fans, and you line them up roughly with the vents underneath the set and then switch on, plug it into its USB thing, and it provides a bit more additional ventilation, stops the system running so hot. So of course this is all very well till the cheap and nasty offering from Walmart started to pack up. It shows a tendency to lose fan blades, and of course that makes the motors run out of balance, and then you get a loud whir, and it's just not good. And then of course you've got the sound problem. So we found a set of speakers in a thrift store which were mains driven to plug into the thing, and although it did sound much better, it didn't sound as good as it can do, and they were prone to buzz and rattle because they were plastic cases. Now my friend, she's a staunch fanatic about the American Civil War between 1861 and 65. And I just jokingly said, well, why don't we make up some kind of a steampunk contraption for the laptop to sit on, with a blower fan inside it and a pair of built-in speakers. Should have kept my mouth shut, shouldn't I? Well, here's the result. Inside is an old blower fan from an old power supply from a computer, which is still in perfect working order, at least the blower fan is. Nice and quiet, nice whir. It's not being run to its full extent, so the motor's rated 12 volts, but I'm only running it on 9, and it's providing more than enough to keep this thing cool. Then the innards comprise two old 3-inch long throw speakers, God knows where those came from, out of my shed, but before that I couldn't tell you. And the amplification is from a very battered pair of Sony amplified Walkman speakers. They were no good as they were, but the amplifier circuit worked, and it has a bass boost on there, so I've incorporated that. And the casing is made up from pieces of wood the builders have very kindly gave me, or bits of wood I've had kicking around the place, including this board. Of course the top is Fablon or contact paper. It's all wood effect, as you can see. The brass is just plastic stuff that just happens to look like brass. And again here I've cut it so that it looks, well, pretty much the sort of thing they would have had they had, and it's an awful stretch of the imagination, isn't it, such equipment back in 1862 or whatever. But the sound on this thing is absolutely marvellous compared to how it was now. It has got a fair bit of bass on there. It's not ear-popping, of course, from 3-inch speakers you wouldn't think it would be. But I've kept the volume control of the Sony amplifier circuit, and this switch turns the amplifier off, and the speakers can then be fed directly, or turn it on, the little pilot light comes up. The whole system turns on from this switch, and there's the lead going out to the audio output. So instead of having, a lead going to the USB from the fans, and then another lead going to the speakers, and then a mains lead going down into the plug, oh dear, we now only have the transformer with one lead, and then the audio lead. The whole thing is a lot less cluttered. In fact, I could have made it run on batteries because there's more than enough room inside to have fitted, well, say, 6 rechargeable C cells. But she's very happy with it, so that's the main thing. It stands on rubber feet that came from a Toshiba turntable my father had, and he completely buggered up the tone arm, so there was no chance of resurrecting that. So, all in all, I have to say it looks quite professional, doesn't it? I'll move back a bit. There we are. That's a bit better. It's got this screensaver on it from a firm called Freeze.com, this has, and that may or may not be a good thing, because quite a few people have told me that this comes with quite a lot of spyware, shall I say, adware. So it keeps making adverts come up on your screen and can even slow your system down a bit. So she's going to have a go at getting rid of that directly. And I can't say I blame her, really. I never did put it on mine. I thought, whoa, no, I'm not doing that. I don't care. I know, that makes me a chicken, so be it. Yeah. So there we are. You see, it's quite a solid thing. It's certainly a lot more solid than it was sitting on those little fans. They fold out. See, the legs sort of fold out, but the stuff is like bean tins. It's ever such thin grade metal. And all the rubber feet fell off it. Yeah, built to last. About 3 days, if you're lucky. Anyway, it's looking nice out there, so I think a bit of pottering in the garden might be in order. Bye for now.